Oscar BEVIS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're here in Miami at the weigh-in and pool party. I'm joined by Hall of Fame Michael Buffer. How are you, sir?
I'm well, thank you. It sounds like we're working in a nightclub right now, but this is typical of South Beach.
We are working in a nightclub. Let's be honest, everyone's having fun. It's been a bit of a different fight week, but it's not a bad gig, is it?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that one. Say again?
I was saying, it is like we're working in a nightclub because everyone's here, we're all having fun. It's not really a bad gig, is it?
Yeah, the atmosphere is great, and you know, this is a fantastic week for all sports fans, the week before the Super Bowl. And of course, Eddie Hearn puts together a Miami Fight Night, 3 world title fights, a great card leading up to everything, so we're looking forward to it.
The one that stands out to most people will be, despite the fact we got 3 world title fights, is the YouTube fight. We had the madness in LA, we got it now, it's a bit more subdued. Are you ready to do it all over again?
Yeah, you know, it's really amazing. You have to appreciate what's happening with the YouTube fighters because it brings in literally millions of fans that aren't, haven't been exposed to the fights. So they get to see the fight they want to see, plus these world title fights. So maybe we'll bring some new fans into the world of boxing.
We have got 3 world title fights also, of course. What's your pick and what's the best of those 3 fights in your opinion?
I like the little guys that are on early, Danny Roman, and it just, they bring it all, and it's just nonstop action every minute of every round, and you got to appreciate that. We got a Rocky Balboa story with Keeler versus Demetrius, so that could be interesting, and Tevin Farmer and JoJo. That's a world title fight. The way they were talking to each other at the weigh-in, that could be something special. So let's wait and see.
It was a massive 2019 for boxing. Can 2020 get any bigger?
Yeah, what I think everyone really is hoping for is that the winner of Fury and Wilder will fight AJ. So we have a true and legitimate undisputed world champion. All this, this lineal stuff, that's all nonsense. The last lineal champion was Lennox Lewis. And I have no idea how it got picked up again with Vladimir, because when he was world champion, his brother was also WBC champion. And as the announcer, he was never presented or introduced as lineal world champion.
Which one of those fights would you prefer to see? AJ Wilder's got the sort of punchy feel about it, whoever lands first. Joshua Fury's got the whole British feel about it, and there is the intrigue about those two going in the ring.
You're trying to put me in a corner here. In other words, by saying who I prefer.
Well, I put you on the spot there.
Yeah, put me on the spot as to who I'd want to win. Listen, whoever wins, wins. Our matchmaker here with Matchroom, Eric Botchker, had a great line about Deontay Wilder and his ability as this devastating puncher. He said he's like a third world country with a nuclear bomb, and he really is. At any moment, no matter what's happening, he can just blow somebody up, and it's an amazing guy. And of course, with Fury, not a massive puncher, not a great output and everything, but his skill and his defensive abilities and his size and his personality, being able to dominate a press conference and everything else, just makes him an overwhelming fighter in and out of the ring. And so I'm looking forward to that fight.
We're hearing the fight could go to Saudi Arabia if it's AJ and Fury. Eddie Hearn said there's been some talks. What's your feeling around that? Because we'd want it in London, we'd want it at Wembley, but AJ Fury. If it is to be AJ Fury, Eddie Hearn has said it could be in Saudi Arabia because they'd earn 150 million instead of 40 at Wembley Stadium. Your thoughts on that?
Listen, I hate to look into a crystal ball other than like what I would want to see. I would think that AJ and Fury would end up being maybe the biggest fight in history. If they had it at Wembley, they'd have to put stands on top of the stands. The number would be astronomical.
The heavyweights are obviously big guys, but we've got a bigger guy in Canelo Alvarez, the biggest name in boxing at the moment. Fights on DAZN. What is Canelo going to do next? It seems like he's keeping the whole division on weight, and he's just going to pick someone out of nowhere.
Yeah, we're waiting to find out who the opponent will be for Cinco de Mayo weekend in Las Vegas. He actually seems to be getting better and better with age. What we all really want to see, of course, is the rematch with Triple G. I'd love to see a unification again in that division and have an undisputed middleweight world champion. this crazy stuff with the titles might have kind of like ruined that. I don't know, where WBC made him a legend or something. I don't even understand what that means, but we all think of him as a middleweight champion. So we have Triple G, we have Demetrius, and we have Canelo as the 3 world middleweight champions. So let's get them all together and have that fight. One champion.
Just a final question, a bit of a random one, but what's a division to look out for this year?
Pardon me?
What's a division to look out for this year?
I'm so sorry. It's so
It is like a nightclub, isn't it? Yeah. What's a division to look out for this year, and where we could have big fights, where we could have big domestic fights perhaps? So what would be the best division to look out for this year?
If I heard you right, what's the best division right now in boxing? Is that what you're asking?
What's the one to look out for this year?
Oh, I still think, that they rule everything as the heavyweights. I think the heavyweights, AJ, Wilder, Deontay, there's Joe Parker's in the mix, and Dillian White. It's a great division, a very strong division, and it's the money division.
I did say last question, but I do have to ask you about Jarrell Big Baby Miller, who signed to Top Rank. Eddie said he refuses to sign him completely after the failed drugs test, which allowed Ruiz to step in against Joshua in New York. Just your thoughts on Top Rank signing Jarrell?
I kind of like the guy. He's a good fighter. I can't explain or speak up for whatever happened with him and the substance that was in his system. It's the thing we don't want to see in boxing. We need to have a more unified and comprehensive drug testing thing. One of the things I think would be important would be you have this thing where if a drug shows up and it's a nanogram, which is like a trillionth of a milligram in someone's blood, that could be from something like a year ago and from nasal spray, who knows. You'd have to have something that just is really comprehensive and just recognizes every aspect of what someone's doing, what they should be doing, what's an accident, what doesn't really affect performance, and it's on the list. And you got to have something really, just get that all together. New York has a different set of rules than California and Vegas. I mean, it's crazy. You got to have one doping organization that checks out everything.
Are you ready to get this party started now?
Let's get this, yeah, I am.
Michael, thank you very much.
All right, thanks a lot.
Gold Star Promotions is proud to present Floyd Money Mayweather. The man himself is coming to the UK for his UK tour, February and March 2020. For all info and tickets, Gold Star Promotions.co.uk.